Hi, and welcome to Classic Advice. My name is Scarlett Classic. I am your host. This is my podcast all about my advice that I'd like to share with you. I also have co hosts on, and they bring their own unique experience and expertise to the show, which is awesome. So I'm so happy that you decided to join, and let's dive right into the episode. Alrighty. So, what I have for you guys this week is the topic of disability. And is it crippling you or is it driving you to chase your dreams? And please stick with me, even if you don't have a disability, because I think you may. My goal with this episode is to inspire you. So, whether you have a disability or not, I'm happy that you're here and I'm so honored and so touched. And just a heads up that this week, the feel of the episode may be a little bit different as I'm going to be sharing my own story with you guys. So let's dive right in. So, a little bit about Scarlett Classic. So, here's my story. I grew up in a household of, there was just four of us. There was mom, dad, and my older sister, and I was the youngest by 4 years. And my parents had put me in French immersion. So, for those non Canadians or just don't know what French immersion is, it's basically you send your kid to school and the teacher will only speak in that language to you. So you are immersed in that language. And as babies, that's how we learn languages, is just being exposed to it all the time. So you do all of your schoolwork in French. You're not allowed to speak English to each other. All the conversation has to be in French. And around the middle of grade 5, I was failing. My teacher told my parents that if something didn't change, I was going to fail grade 5. So my parents had someone come over to the house, and I remember this lady. She was very nice. We played some games together. She got me to do a bunch of things. And what she was testing for was to see if I had some sort of mental disability. And all the results were negative. So then my parents talked to the teachers again, and they thought, well, maybe she just can't learn French. Maybe that's the problem. We had talked about it, and there was a little bit of a, in my school there was an English speaking part of the school, like I don't want to say normal, but for like the public system, that's just the normal program. And there was always this animosity between the two, the English and the French. It was like us Frenchies and then those English people. I didn't want to go into the public system. I begged my parents. I was like, no, I don't want to go to the, like, I loved the French. I loved it. I loved speaking in a different language. Me and my sister, because she was in French immersion too. So whenever we didn't want our parents to, not know what we were saying, we would just talk French to each other. It was awesome. And I really didn't want to go, but there was another, so I was raised in a Christian home, and there was a Christian school, but it was private, and it was obviously smaller, and it was a smaller school. So the total number of grade fivers was, I think there was either five of us or six of us. I can't remember exactly for sure, but that's very, very small. So they decided to switch me from the French immersion, and I completely changed schools and went into that private school, which was in English, by the way. And I had a lot of one-on-one time with the teacher because they were trying to get me caught up in everything. And then I did so middle of grade 5 all the way to the middle of grade 10 in that private school. And then I decided that I wanted to switch into the public system again just because they had more options available that I wanted to take and all that fun stuff. So then they switched me back into the public system with all the English English guys. And of course I knew all of them. It just been, years past. And so that was, different and fun. And when I was in the The private school, my grades, I was honors. I didn't get anything below an 80%. I went back into the public system and I worked my butt off. I kid you not. I worked so hard. I would go to school, do all the classes. I would really pay attention. I never goofed off in class. I was focused. Then I would come home and I would study each and every subject all over again from what we covered in class. And I would be lucky if I got a 70. That was really, really difficult for me. I didn't understand what was going on. And as I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do after high school, my sister had gone off to university, and my parents were willing to help me achieve that dream if I wanted to. And I wanted to go, but I was so scared. I was so incredibly scared to go to university because high school was so incredibly difficult for me. And I applied and I got in, but I didn't go. I was scared. I let fear get the better of me and I didn't go because I was scared that it would be too hard and that I would fail. And so I didn't even try. I was looking at different things that I could do that didn't require college or university or any of that stuff. And what I settled on was I decided I wanted to join the police in their canine division, which is their search and rescue division. Specifically, they use canines for other things as well. But I specifically wanted to be that search and rescue. I wanted to help people. That's all I've ever wanted to do in life, is just to help people. So I went to the gym every second day. Me and my mom would go together. We would work out. We would come home, and bless my sister's heart, she would always have a nice cooked meal for us, and we would always be starving after. She's like, I always have to make more when you guys go to the gym. You're so hungry. And then I was online and I was looking at their expectations and all the things that you have to do to qualify to be in their canine division. And I was like, okay, they have an eyesight and they have a this, that, and they have a hearing exam that you have to pass, which is basically you just have to be above what is considered normal. I thought, well, I better just go get my ears tested because wouldn't that be a bummer if I got declined on something like that? So I scheduled the test. I went and got tested. And my world just fell apart from around me. I will never forget that day that I was told I was half deaf. It was a shock. It was a shock for sure. However, a lot of my life started to make sense after that. My parents got me an appointment with a audiologist, so just kind of the step above the person that I had went to, and we tested me, and we tested me every so often, and then I was told after about a year or two, I'm actually losing my hearing. I'm not just half deaf, it's slowly going away. She told me that my hearing loss is nerve damage. So as of to date, there is nothing that can be done about it. My nerve is slowly dying, and my audiologist told me that one day I may be completely deaf. So then what? I couldn't join the police. I was scared to go to university. I grew up in a religious home, and a lot of the graduates from the church that I was going to attended Bible college, which is basically a year's worth, like 9 months. And my sister had gone to the one in Germany. They have locations all over. It's called Capenry. Some of you may be familiar with it. My sister had gone to the Capenry in Germany, but I opted to go to the Capenry in England because it was in a castle. Like, I got to live in a castle. It was. So that's what I did. I took the safe road. I took the safe road. Some of you may be thinking, like, oh my goodness, that would be so devastating. That would be so horrific and terrible to find out. But to be honest with you guys, when I found out, I was relieved. I was relieved because that meant I wasn't stupid. All these struggles that I had in school wasn't my fault. My audiologist looked at me and she said, I have no idea how you got through school. And I ended up passing with honors in my grade 12 year. She told me that I should have been put in a deaf school. So looking back, yeah, when I was in a small class size, when I had all that one-on-one time, I didn't realize it, but I was reading people's lips. For those of you guys that have disabilities, you can really understand this because you compensate for the disability that you have. I have a really great sense of smell. I can smell like a dog. Your senses get heightened. So your body kind of compensates and adjusts, and I was reading lips and I didn't even know it. So yeah, whenever the teacher would turn her back, well then I couldn't hear what she was saying. So no wonder I struggled in school. So no, I was not feeling sorry for myself at all. At all. Because I was so relieved that I wasn't stupid. Because I was trying so hard. And then there would be other kids in class that didn't even try and goofed off, and I know never did their homework and partied all the time, and they got better grades than I did. And I was just always thinking, like, what is wrong with me? So, my encouragement for you is, yes, I was scared to go to university. So I chose not to because high school was so incredibly hard. But yeah, sometimes I wish I had gone because I failed because I didn't even try. I just automatically failed. On that note, I'm 36 years old. I can't dwell on the fact that, almost 20 years ago, I just made a decision. So I'm focusing on the now, which is what I'm encouraging you to do. I want to encourage you to not let your fear stop you from doing something. Because I know I probably could have done university. I could have opted for getting help. I could have got a translator because I went and I learned sign language when I was told I was losing my hearing and one day it'd be gone. I went and learned sign language right then. So don't let your fear stop you. Because I know I could have done university if I just tried. Because I am smart. I do have the intelligence to do it. For example, I moved over to Romania and they speak Romanian in Romania. Convenient. And I didn't know any Romanian before I went over. My ex is Romanian, so he sat down and he taught me a few things like, hi, how are you? And no and yes. And he taught me how to read and pronounce all the different letters and combinations of sounds and stuff like that. But I really learned Romanian on my own, just through immersion. Because he was busy working, so he didn't have the time to sit down and teach me a whole language. Of course, he was available to me when I would say, like, hey, like, I keep seeing this word, or I keep hearing this word all the time. What does that mean? And he would tell me, and he would help me. And I looked after a young kid when I was over there. He was 3, and he actually, I would just say, like, hey, what's this, what's that? And he would tell me what it is. And he really helped me learn Romanian. But I learned I'm half deaf, and I learned another language. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm just really proud of that fact, that I could do that I did that. So don't let your fear stop you from doing something, because fear can be it's such a powerful force. And you can let it paralyze you, but then what are you missing out on? So for example, put it this way. I'm hard of hearing. Just speaking takes a lot of concentration on my part. You may be able to hear in some of my episodes, I try to edit it all out, but sometimes I have a really hard time pronouncing words correctly. Because it does. I can't hear what I'm saying. Like, I can hear vowels. That's the best way that I can describe it to you. Is I can hear all the A, E, I's, O's, and U's, and the sounds that you make with your voice, right? But the sounds that you make with your lips, like p, t, s, I don't hear any of that. I did not hear any of that. I can do the sounds, but I don't hear those sounds. So yes, speaking really takes a lot of concentration. So why on earth would I start a podcast when I have to talk a lot? Why would you do that? Because I wanted to. Because I have said no to letting fear stop me from here on out. Fear will no longer stop me from doing what I want to do. If I want to do something, I'm just going to do it. Am I going to be terrified? Oh, 100%. You just asked Dave. Me and Dave talked about this. I believe when we were doing his episode for the How to Podcast series. Me and Dave talked about this. I was absolutely petrified to upload my first episode. I was terrified. And I looked over at my husband, Roy, and I was like, oh, okay, I got everything all set up. All I have to do is push this button. Should I do it? And he just looks at me and he's like, well, yeah. I'm not going to let fear control me anymore. I have met so many amazing, wonderful people. Everyone in our meetup group. They are so amazing. I wouldn't know anyone from our meetup group. And you guys know who you are. I'm scared to list your names off because I don't want to forget anybody. But you guys are amazing. And you're becoming my family. And I absolutely, Saturday mornings, because a lot of you guys are over on the East Coast and I'm on the West Coast, so it's a little bit earlier for me, 9 o'clock instead of 11. But I'm so excited to wake up Saturday mornings because I get to spend the morning with you. And I would not know you guys if I didn't start this podcast. So I've decided that I'm not going to let my disability of being half deaf, of being hard of hearing, define me. Well, Scarlett, what about the long term? Because I'm pretty sure I'll always be able to speak because I can speak now. But what about when I can't hear my own podcast and I can't do my own editing anymore because I can't even hear what I'm recording? Then what? Well, I happen to know a bunch of other podcasters that I'm sure if I were to ask them, they would love to edit my show for me and be my ears. Because that's just how lovely my podcasting friends are. And yeah, I can tell my hearing is slowly getting worse, and it really is draining some days. I just feel so depleted, and I'm wondering why I'm so tired. Well, then I have to remind myself, well, I'm working really hard to just figure out what everybody's saying in a day. And I try to not worry about something that hasn't happened yet. I'm 36. I was told that I was slowly losing my hearing when I was 18. And I am so thankful for these past, now I'm making me do math, 18, 28, like almost 20 years. So maybe I have another 20 years. So why worry about something that hasn't happened yet? It's not happened yet. I will worry about it when it happens. Don't let your disability define you. If you want to do something, then go for it. Go for it. You can do it. You can. Give it your all. Some of the most brilliant minds are autistic. Did you know that? Elon Musk and Eminem have been diagnosed with Asperger's, which is a form of autism. Albert Einstein was not formally, but it is believed that he was autistic. My husband Roy is dyslexic. And he is so incredibly smart. It amazes me how smart he is. It blows my mind. So yeah, you could put the label of your hard of hearing, but I'm also a wife. I'm also a mother. I can also speak 3 languages: English, Romanian, sign language. I'm teaching myself Spanish just for fun. Don't ask me to say anything yet though, because I'm not there yet. I taught myself how to play guitar, flute, piano. I'm not amazing at the piano, but I can, do simple little tunes and stuff. Beethoven was deaf and he wrote music. He didn't let his fear or his disability define who he was. So I choose, and I really want to encourage you guys to all choose to look at all of those people and allow them to inspire you and to go for your dreams. Do people around me have to accommodate for my disability? Yeah, sure. Yeah, they do. Do I have to do things a little bit differently because of it? Yeah. When my coworker at work wants to talk to me, he either has to come to my office or I have to get up and go to his office instead of just sitting in my chair and calling to him from down the hallway. So yeah, there are things that I have to do a little bit differently, but it doesn't need to define me. And it will not stop me from reaching for the stars and chasing my dreams. I refuse to let it paralyze me in fear or doubt. Oh, you can't be a podcaster if you're deaf. Watch me now. You can too. You can do it. Do you have a dream? Do you have a disability or a fear that's stopping you? Well, I'm here to tell you can. And you can't climb Everest in a day. But every day you can take another step. Every day I try to do just one little thing for my podcast. Just do one small thing every day to bring you closer to that dream of yours? What can you do today? What small step can you take towards your dream? And go do it. And don't let anyone tell you different. You tell me that I can't do something, and I'll go show you that I can. Because I'm stubborn. That's just who I am. Now, before I let the fear paralyze me, yeah. But now, no. So I have turned my hearing loss into my drive to get as much done as I can in the time that I have. So this is my challenge for you this week. What's that dream of yours? And what's that fear of yours that's stopping you from doing it? Push it aside. It doesn't matter. If you want it, then go for it and chase your dreams, because you can do it. You can do it. Take one small step this week. Just do one thing that will bring you that one step closer. And then after a few weeks, after a month, after a year, you'll turn around and look and, wow, this is episode 12. This is episode 12. I'm doing it. I'm living my dream. I'm actively living my dream by just taking that one small step a day. And going back to Everest, you'll climb, and one step after another, and before you know it, you'll turn around and you'll look down into that valley. And you will show everyone that you can and that you did. Thank you so much, everyone, for spending time with me today. I hope that this episode was an encouragement to you. Thank you so much for spending time with me. It was an honor, an absolute honor. And it brings me so much joy every time I see I have another listener, another subscriber to the show, another email. I would love to hear from you. Head on over to my website, ClassicChronicles.ca. I would love to hear from you. You guys take care and have an awesome week. We'll see you next week. And that's a wrap for this episode. Thank you for listening all the way to the very end. Aw, you're the best. My website is ClassicChronicles.ca. If you want to head on over there, I have my co-hosts all listed there. If you click on their photos, it'll take you directly to their website. Go say hi to them. They would love to hear from you. Podcasters love hearing from their listeners. So go say hi. Don't be shy. And if you want to as well, there is a Buy Me a Coffee link on there, which all the proceeds I use to just pour right back into my podcast. It does cost me just a little bit to have this podcast going, and I would love to be able to support it instead of taking it out of my own pocket and maybe, take the kids for an ice cream because they don't like coffee. I love coffee though. So, all right, you guys take care and we'll see you next week. Bye.